today. The following is a presentation of TFNN. The Power Trading Hour with your host, David White. Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-445-1044. Now, David White.
And welcome all to another excellent edition of the Power Trading Hour. From Bahrain to Biscayne, from Champlain to Fort Wayne to Maine, to the plains of Spain, and even the Ukraine. We'd love to come to you every trading day at this time.
Takes place between 2 p.m. and 3 p.m.
Guess we don't get anything on the backside anymore. Anyway, is that right? Where is that? Maybe. I'll have to check on that. Anyway, what else do we have going on? Well, I wanted to get right to the sit rep. Volume continues to be light both up and down. Continues to be lighter every time we go up, lighter every time we go down. Right now, if we closed here, it would be an all-time high, closing high on the S&P cash. We're up 9 points on the S&P cash. Options continue to kind of tighten in their range, showing that there isn't going to be a huge move, but they tend to be on the bias of the higher side for the next few days. Again, 80% of the time this week is bullish. It's very hard. You've got to have kind of a compelling reason and almost the market in a downtrend already to get this week to get all nasty. But that's it. VIX puts spiked yesterday, suggesting the bears are back in town. Was that a horrible song or not? I'm going to have to go back. The boys were back in town. The boys are back in town. I think I kind of liked it when it came out. Now, maybe it wasn't that great. Hard to tell. Anyway, you can email me with your thoughts on that song and other things, mostly around the stock market, or questions about technology at 877-927-6648. But anyway, yeah, the bears kind of came back yesterday, so I suspected that the market would start moving back up. My guess is they're going to get all jiggy with it before the end of the day, because they did kind of pounce on the market a little earlier. But, we're up here at the highs. There's not a lot of stocks selling off. The volume is decreasing, but we're slowly kind of chewing through that high. And I was looking at reasons on why maybe that would happen to see if there was any kind of theory that made a lot of sense, that would give me a little more confidence. The only thing I can see is the numbers on COVID look and continue to look very promising, with the story about millions and billions and trillions of people all reporting new cases. We still haven't got to maybe just a little over a third of mortality rates over the last few weeks that was at the very high. So could this be the end of that? The numbers look very encouraging over the last 10 days. And I'm starting to see options in things like airlines and others that are far more bullish than I even have the courage to pull the trigger on. So maybe it's time to get rid of those negative waves. Light a candle instead of curse the darkness. I don't know, but the thing is, there's an old saying on Wall Street. That saying is, if you're not buying the highs, you're just not trying. And it sounds kind of cute and catchy, but literally they say that because guess what? Generally, if you buy the highs, it goes higher. And for people on Wall Street, they can look good for a year buying highs, and then they look bad once when everything goes to the proverbial hell in a handbasket. But other than volume, which isn't, we're not having people sell off stocks with, trillions of shares, not seeing them drop like flies. They're just hanging around at these highs. could we at least get to Friday and be over 3,400? I mean, options really are pointing to the fact that they're very nervous that something is going to happen, but they don't know what and where. So we've got a lot of people buying downside protection, and generally what that means is slowly the market probably goes higher. So kind of like a drunk stumbling on the way home, I think we're kind of stumbling into probably some kind of high, at least for Friday. Now, in options expiration, generally what you see is a little bit of downside, which we probably already had this morning, and then kind of a push into a high on Wednesday, a little bit of a pullback on Thursday, and then a push back to that high on Friday, and then maybe a little more. So the next, at least next trading day or so, will probably tell us a lot. We've got NVIDIA after the bell tonight. As I said, I really kind of missed the boat on NVIDIA. I wouldn't short it, but I was very surprised to see how quietly in the background how they were doing just land office business in making supercomputers using their technology. I really hadn't seen it until maybe 3 weeks ago. I thought maybe everybody was just nuts, but apparently on the inside, people knew. I didn't see anything in the newsprint or anything about how they were selling these big $1 million and $10 million systems left and right to education and government. But machine learning is a thing. They are the hub of all of that thing. Most of the software is free, written by college PhDs and other stuff, and kind of amalgamated by people like companies like Apple and Microsoft and Amazon and Facebook. And of course, the big ones are Amazon, Google, and Facebook that all have their own kind of versions of public domain, open source software. But it's really kind of geared exactly to what those companies do. Slowly, we are seeing people adapt that software for more and other wide-ranging business opportunities. And from the government to the NSA, the ability to do lots of parallel addition, subtraction, anything you could do on a basic $5 calculator today. Just imagine buying a card for $1,000 and having 24 of those, 2,400 of those calculators, and maybe in the next version we'll hear about that from NVIDIA, maybe 4,000 of those ready to go. It would be like you had 4,000 people that could be out there just adding and subtracting. And of course, not all programs are kind of that way, but a lot are, especially machine learning programs are like that. So you can bust up a lot of the operations into smaller operations. Anyway, we'll see what they do tonight, but man, have they been selling the living daylights out of those big systems, big existing systems, and getting ready to launch the next version of their series of their cards that gamers and us home players use. We'll be back after this.
If you're not currently using the TAS Profile Scanner when looking at setting up your trading opportunities, then your arsenal is short a mighty weapon. The TAS Profile Scanner is a standalone piece of software that instantly filters over 2,500 global financial markets such as stocks, ETFs, commodity futures, and Forex. Headed by Steve Dahl, TAS understands that in today's technological world, the use of top-flight software applications and technical analysis expertise is essential to successful trading in today's market. You also gain access to the webinar that Steve Dahl and Tom O'Brien just hosted, The Best Way to Use the TAS Profile Scanner to Profit. This webinar archive is available for all subscribers immediately upon signing up. All new subscriptions also come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Start your subscription by visiting the front page of TFNN.com today, and you'll find the TAS Profile Scanner under the Services tab. Sign up today. Are you in the market for buying or selling real estate in the Bay Area, including the surrounding St. Petersburg, Tampa, and Clearwater markets? Tiger Real Estate LLC is a firm that has extensive experience in the Tampa Bay area. Whether you're looking to sell your current property for maximum value, or you're in the market for a second home or investment property, Tiger Realty has the experience across all areas of real estate in the Tampa Bay area to help buyers and sellers make the most informed decisions across all price levels. From the price you should be paying per square foot in certain up-and-coming areas to the type of cash flow investment properties are capable of creating, Tiger Real Estate can help you make the best decision when it comes to all areas of the market. Before you make one of the biggest decisions of your financial future, call Tiger Real Estate LLC today at 727-329-8322 or email us at tiger@tfnn.com. That's 727-329-8322. Call us today.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Call now, toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Then it's all just a little bit of history repeating.
On this day in 1590, John White, no relation, the governor of Roanoke Island Colony in present-day North Carolina, returns from a supply trip of about 2.5 years to from England to find the settlement deserted, everyone gone. White and his men found no trace of the 100-plus colonists left behind, and there was no sign of violence. The only clue was the mysterious disappearance was the word croton, carved in the palisade that had been put around the settlement. There was a tribe of Indians called that. Years later, tree ring samples found out that the worst drought from about 300 years on either side of 1590 actually occurred on the 2 years that he was gone. And the thought is that of the 100 or so, maybe 50 were left, and they went off to the Indians that were known as the Crotons. I don't know how to Croatan. Anyway, not hide nor hair was found. I guess I have to do a little creepy do-do-do-do-do-do-do kind of a sound around that. But even people back then disappeared with no good reason. And, of course, a drought occurred, and nobody was driving around their big, fat American SUVs. How could that be? That only happens today. Okay, let's go ahead and start looking at some charts. As we said earlier, Professor Proton. Oh, yeah, we've got that. Question here before I get started. Before I forget, do any U.S. tech stocks have a price risk due to government Huawei tensions? I guess the only thing is that if we're selling chips that Huawei makes in their own products, and that is something they cut off. If you remember, one of the reasons I think we're here right now with Huawei was, if you go back, I think it was 2015, 2016, the vile Chinese communist government went and kidnapped a Qualcomm head, or the head of Qualcomm, over all the manufacturing in China, and basically told him that if he wanted to go home alive and all his digits and parts, that he'd tell him everything he knew about how to build Qualcomm parts. And why I don't think there's a lot of discussion of it. I think that a lot of the copying that Huawei did over other people, including Qualcomm parts, to make their products, this is kind of waited for it, but I think this is kind of the payback, at least on the hardware side, for a lot of that. Again, question is whether or not we're going to sell them parts so that they can sell devices in other parts of the world. I guess from disassembly, from software, from and hardware on all this stuff, these devices were probably made hand in hand with the people in the Chinese government that were responsible for getting every shred of data they could and invading everybody's business with backdoors. Because the backdoors in the Huawei equipment are not just in the software. You can't just come out with a new rev. They literally put hardware backdoors in everything. In fact, you might remember it too. I want to say it was 2017. There was a big deal where they found motherboards that they were shipping to the United States that Chicoms had gotten, re-engineered, and put in a hardware flip bit to allow them to control everything on that motherboard and in the computer. And a handful of those actually got into the ecosystem of Amazon Web Services at the time. Once they started seeing a bunch of data head back to the Chicoms, they figured it all out. But hardware level intrusion that you can't ever get rid of is a reason that Huawei is in the position it's at. And I suspect a lot of the paybacks from literally kidnapping folks like executives from Qualcomm is finally hit the proverbial fan. So I don't know how much stuff we'd sell to Huawei, but even if you were a chip manufacturer in the US and you didn't sell it to Huawei, people are still going to buy something. So your chip probably has just as good a chance of finding its way in another manufacturer to the same end user. I don't see a lot of risk for Huawei. There may be some smaller companies depending on Huawei, but overall, I think it all comes out in the wash. So that's it. Anyway, we're looking at NVIDIA. They got a little higher. Got within 16 cents of $500 today. Question is, how accurate is this price? If we've got some stocks with very high PEs, astronomical. I'm going to get an error. There aren't enough digits for the ones for Tesla, which we'll look at in a minute. NVIDIA, I think, is like 100 to 1. It's pretty expensive, but it's only doubled. Which means that maybe we get a PE that drops in half to 50 to 1. If they do as well as at least a lot of people have been talking about. Maybe I'm all misguided and everything. We had some good earnings this morning, and did I get to that? And they were very good. The question I have is why at the very beginning of the day they really didn't do much. The big loser was Kohl's. That place has been going out of business for years, way before any COVID issues. Home Depot, the record traffic out there, and it's still down 1%, which is kind of amazing. Maybe it ran past what people thought, but 1% down, no big deal. Walmart, basically flat on the day. AAP, which is Advanced Auto Parts, up about 1.5%. It was actually up about 5-6%, up to $170 today. But not a lot going on, pretty quiet, but earnings are not bad. They're not disappointing, except retailers who have been closed, like Kohl's. And, of course, they're off almost $4 today, just under $20. But I don't know if there's a lot of reasons to get involved in those. Yeah, I mean, the earnings for Home Depot or BAFO, and that it's not up a great deal more. It's kind of interesting. Let's take a quick look at that chart. Yeah, I mean, you could have the same thing in NVIDIA today. You could have blowout earnings. But you may just be a little bit ahead of it. Numbers on NVIDIA haven't changed either. But, man, they've been doing everything they can. Produce everything they can. Back in
If you're a trader in the market looking to find the path that leads to maximizing profits while decreasing risk, then now is a great time to try out Dave White's daily trading service, The Path of Least Resistance. Through the use of options and equity trades, Dave advises his subscribers on a daily basis of the current market conditions and what possible trade setups are on the horizon. The Path of Least Resistance is published every trading morning, often with updates intraday when initiating trades or closing out positions. Dave White has advised his clients of some outstanding winning options and equity trades in recent months, and now is a great time to try it out for yourself. New subscribers to the Path of Least Resistance receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. See for yourself the types of options and equity trades that are available by signing up for the Path of Least Resistance today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com and selecting the newsletter tab. Sign up today.
Hi folks, Tom O'Brien here. If you'd like to get my daily newsletter, Market Insights, then now is a great time to sign up for a 30-day free trial. Every morning by 9:30, I send out my morning letter to subscribers with market commentary on a variety of markets, currencies, and commodities to keep investors up to date on the day's trading action. Included in Market Insights are specific buy and sell recommendations for stocks, ETFs, and even options, with stops and price targets included for every trade in my newsletter. If you'd like to try my newsletter risk-free for 30 days, then head over to the front page of TFNN and you'll find Market Insights under Trading Newsletters. I use my years of trading experience to bisect and dissect the market every morning and give my subscribers the most important information they need to know for the day ahead. I even issue afternoon updates for my subscribers whenever warranted with important market action. I'm always scouring the market for the next great trading opportunity. Sign up for your 30-day free trial to my daily newsletter, Market Insights, today by visiting the front page of TFNN.com. Wow! Go get them, folks.
TFNN is excited about our new software charting program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts. In collaboration with Tom O'Brien and using his best-selling book, The Art of Timing the Trade, Your Ultimate Trading Mastery System, David White has programmed an outstanding piece of software that will complement any trader's methodology. Using this first-of-its-kind program, The Art of Timing the Trade Charts allows you to scan thousands of stocks for Fibonacci formation setups, including Gartley's, ABC's, butterflies, and much more. The Art of Timing the Trade Charts is designed to help you when scouring the markets for stocks just beginning to form the trading patterns that many investors spend days, weeks, or even months searching to find. And right now, we're offering licenses available at only $79 a month. We are so confident that you're going to love this new charting software that will even give you a 30-day unconditional money-back guarantee. Don't miss out on this incredible new piece of software. Get your copy of The Art of Timing the Trade Charts today by visiting TFNN.com.
This segment is brought to you by Think or Swim. For more information, just click the Think or Swim banner on the front page of TFNN.com.
And we're back. We'll look at a few more stocks here for the end of the show. But you know what? Light volume, we're doing about 5.5 billion shares. A lot of that may be waiting for NVIDIA just because it's now such a big part of the internet industrial complex. Have you heard that one before? Anyway, that Thin Lizzy, apparently everybody thinks it belongs on the Rapey Songs of the 70s Time Life Edition LP. They have several other songs that they find in that genre. Chevy van, Oh, there were a lot of them, weren't they? Didn't age well in this climate when you listen to them today. Okay, what else do we have? Okay, checking the email here. Got a couple things. SMHs, taking a look. No sign of any breakout here. You're down a little bit. No volume. You had light volume the last 7 days. But again, nobody really giving it up. So kind of tough to actually look at those and get too excited. Let's go back and look at some of the stocks that I was looking at the last few days. The Buckle retail stock down a little bit, light volume. A lot of these stocks look like they could go. I mean, you would think from the business that they're in, could have a lot of problems, but not moving much of anything. See if we find any of these out here that did anything today. Boston Properties, of course, you'd think that real estate was, well, you might as well just light your house on fire and walk away. But Boston Properties, not all that bad. 1.7 million shares back on June 10th, $83.39, $84.66. Little spike down into it today with no volume, 582,000 shares. Beyond, we'll see if it's truly Beyond. Oh, I forgot to get it here. There we go. Beyond Meat. Yeah, this one also fairly light. Hadn't come down and tested the July 24th low, 120.32, 2.7 million shares. They're doing about 1.6 million shares, so maybe you come in about 2 million shares. Come on. Just see if any of these things, there's not much moving. Crown and Cork did retest its previous highs. A lot of these things should have just blown up today or yesterday, did not. Crown CCK is a symbol, $76.84, 1.5 million shares. Got into it with a third of the volume 2 days ago. Yesterday, very light volume. Today, light volume. But again, nothing exciting. Even though these things have kind of slowly rotated lower, no volume yet. Celsius, CELH, symbol on this one, last high, 2.2 million shares back on August 7th. CELH. And a little break of it today, but looks like it's going to close back into the trading range with about 700,000 shares so far. I wonder what this company does. Let's go ahead and check it out. Sells functional calorie burning fitness beverages. Wonder what the names of these things are. Sells lots of flavors. Also provides Celsius heat. Company distributes product through direct store distributors. Company is formerly known as Vector Ventures. They make a lot of interesting sounding beverages, but don't see any name that I recognize. It must be some kind of generic thing that sells in Walmart. CETV, Central European Media, not much going on there. Compugen, CGEN is the symbol on that one. You had a 3 million share high on June 3rd, $17.85, 3 million shares. Hit it today or yesterday with a little less than 900,000 shares. Today, you got about the same volume, but rotating down a little bit. Again, just looking like we're hitting into resistance, but a lot of these stocks not giving it up instantly and rotating lower. CHRS, Coherus Biosciences, don't see a lot in that. CMD, ProShares, ultra short Bloomberg. I wonder what they short. Are they shorting Bloomberg itself? What are they shorting here? Maybe that's not right. Cantel Media Corporation. Okay, need to get that fixed. Provides infection prevention and control products and services for the healthcare market. Okay. See if that's actually updated. Yep, it is. Cantel Media Corp. I need to update stuff on my side. Okay, million share high back on June 5th, $54.09. Got to $55.41 on the 11th and just gone sideways since. Again, light volume, half the volume, but no giving it up. Campbell Soup. Man, it's light volume in Campbell Soup. How could Campbell Soup do bad? Anyway, through the June 1st high of $52.07, that had 3 million shares with about 800,000 shares today. Yesterday, just 1.5 million shares, so half that volume. Got a high peak out here on May 15th with 5.5 million shares at 53.54, so another 75 cents higher on that one. See if there's anything else out in here. A lot of stocks, but not many signals. 3D Systems, DDD, we were talking about this one last week. Probably going to test this $5.20 low, which is the March 17th low. 3.8 million shares. Coming into it right now with about 2 million shares. So let's say you do about 2.5 million shares. You will get close to a lighter test of that March 17th low. But my guess is you'll still need some consolidation after that. DGRO. Let's see here. Let's update everything. Make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. Okay. See if there's anything. Dunkin' Donuts. Looked at this the other day. See if there's anything more. Just a very light volume retest of the previous high. June 8th, $71.59 with 1.9 million shares into it, but not really breaking through it with 300,000 shares today. Again, they just hang up here. They generally eventually claw through. Either you get volume or you have some kind of blow off top. Looks like what we're going to get this week. So hang on to your hats. We'll be back shortly.
Many of our new listeners have heard about the Tiger's Den. The Tiger's Den is a lively community where professional traders and investors can meet, exchange ideas and information in a comfortable, moderated atmosphere. Hear all of the TFNN shows, plus see all of the charts as they happen live and have access to archives of all of those charts. You can test drive the Tiger's Den absolutely free for 30 days and greatly enrich your knowledge of these markets and how to make your money work for you. Details on the Tiger's Den are on the front page of TFNN.com.
TFNN has launched our brand new website. You can still visit us at the same TFNN.com URL, but when you do, you'll see a new and improved homepage with a much simpler navigation, whether you're watching Tiger TV live in high definition or just accessing your newsletter subscriptions. We even have new pricing in 6 months and yearly options. Check out the new TFNN.com now and experience all the upgrades. TFNN.com, educating investors.
If you haven't checked out the newsletters page of TFNN.com, what are you waiting for? All of the TFNN newsletters are informative, up-to-date, affordable, and a must-have for every trader looking to gain a competitive informational edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets to offer you the very latest in market news. Plus, new subscribers get to test drive our newsletters risk-free for 30 days. From all aspects of the markets, including stocks, bonds, metals, commodities, and tech, there's a newsletter to fit your needs exclusively from TFNN. Stay informed each day you trade and get that competitive edge that will help you stay ahead of the game. Visit our newsletters page by going to TFNN.com and click the newsletters button near the top of the page. TFNN.com, educating investors.
Are China A shares hot or not? If you trade China A shares, now may be time to take a closer look. Trade CHAU or CHAD, Directions Daily CSI 300 China A Share Bull and Bear ETFs. China A shares in either direction. Visit directioninvestments.com today. An investor should consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses of the Direction shares carefully before investing. The prospectus and summary prospectus contain this and other information about Direction shares. To obtain a prospectus or summary prospectus, please contact Direction shares at 866-476-7523. The prospectus or summary prospectus should be read carefully before investing. An investment in the funds is subject to risk, including the possible loss of principal. The funds are designed to be utilized only by sophisticated investors such as traders and active investors. Distributor Foreside Fund Services, LLC.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV for the latest market information.
And a question about fake book. I had to say that generally for the last few years, they've been making all the mistakes that everybody else had been. As I said, over the last couple of weeks, they decided to thumb their nose at the council culture and tell them that no, they weren't going to bend to their will, which seemed rather interesting because they kind of led that whole thing. But I have a feeling that Zuckerberg doesn't want to kneel and kiss the ring of everybody. Probably doesn't have to, but certainly doesn't want to. Doesn't want to get into the habit of doing it. It spiked in that they continue to make good revenues without the slave masters at Nike and other companies who have dubious issues of their own. And so I think from what I've looked at, it's like 265 on options. So not much higher out here, but 265, maybe 270. I'll look at the options tonight, but it didn't look like much was going on in Facebook other than sideways action. But everything that you hear from advertising is that they weathered the storm of the people that were going to quote, what were they going to do? Oh, boycott Facebook. My question is whether or not Nike is back on advertising yet. I think 30 days are just about up. Maybe Facebook will just have a special on the slave labor that puts Nike shoes on the shelf. No one wants to talk about that, though, right? Okay. Okay, slave masters here in Nike. What's going on with that? 8.4 million shares, June 5th. 104.69. You got to 107.33 with 5.4 million shares, which is the light volume top. But again, you generally want to give about 3 days for these things to roll over, and if they don't, generally they go back higher. They either come up with some volume or gap higher and blow away everybody. Again, if you're short a great deal of shares, generally these markets just keep going higher until the shorts quit shorting. Good example out here is Apple. Even with the slings and arrows of outrageous antitrust action, man, I like that. I'm going to have to start writing this stuff down. No volume on the side out here. It still looks like 475, maybe as high as 480 for expiration if people keep shorting it like they have the last few days, maybe even higher. But it's hard to say. Okay. What else do we have? Fitbit. Question on Fitbit. I don't think these things go anywhere. There's been some discussions that Microsoft buying Fitbit. Don't think much is happening. Got a question here on after the bell tonight on NVIDIA. We talked a little bit about it. Do I think that they announced the deal with ARMS Holdings? And that would be the big thing. You may have very good earnings, but it may not matter when you look at ARM's holdings and what happens there. But the rumored price now is $50 billion. I have a feeling that a lot would be not just based on whether they bought them or not, but what the price was. When they started off, the number, rumor number was about 30 billion, which I thought was high. So my guess is that if it is something like 50 billion now, then NVIDIA walks away from it. I don't know of too many other companies that have the cash right now to go chasing it. Okay. Grubhub question. Man, it just keeps going up, but again, fairly light volume. Yeah, $80.25 back on July 29th. That had about 5 million shares that day. You also have 87.98. My guess is that these guys are probably going to dip short term. And of course, as soon as weather gets horrible again up north, probably going to do much better. So these guys may take a dip into the early fall as people probably get out of their houses and start looking at better places or more fun things to do, like go out and eat. GWPH, the only legal marijuana company so far, actually selling drugs. It's just back down here at 105, not much going on. But isn't that the entire weed thing now? It had its brief day in the sun. Everybody started growing plants in their backyard, and maybe they don't need it as bad. Their own little victory gardens of overpriced marijuana. And I don't know, not much in here. Let's see what else is out here in my list of stuff. Take a look at Microsoft, or not Microsoft, McDonald's. They've had their own little Peyton Place thing going on with Me Too and all that. Very rare to see people come after CEOs, especially lying about sex, because as we learned in the 90s, everybody lies about that. We were told that anyway. So anyway, McDonald's, MCD, looks like it's going to at least take a shot at 215.59, that February 13th high. I guess everybody's slowly adapted to going through the drive-thrus. There's not much going on there. Fitbit, TikTok. Okay. What's this about? Okay. DDY. See what else is here. Murphy USA. Kind of interesting to see how some of these gas stations, now that a lot of places are closed, are doing kind of like the dollar stores. They were still open while everybody, especially places like Walmart and Target, were closed or had shortened hours. A lot of these gas stations continue to do very well. Murphy USA, not too bad. Just no volume out here on the right-hand side. But again, not a lot of direction one way or the other. PAA, Plains All-American LP in the energy sector. Retesting the July 31st low that had 4 million shares at $7.38. Got 1 penny above it with about 2.6 so far. We'll look at some energy when we come back. Got a couple of minutes.
Back in the day, I joined Hotel California in 2006, and like many of you, was drawn in by, bam! As well as,
whatever you think about, you bring about. Whatever you focus on grows.
You see, I believe that everything in life happens for us, not to us. And Tom ignited the fire within me to want to learn how to master the markets. So how did I go from knowing nothing about technical analysis to becoming the #1 market timer for the S&P 500 in 2018 and the #2 market timer in 2019? Simply put, I hired coaches with a proven track record, which led me to a whole new set of tools that I created to interpret the message of buyers and sellers. I would love the opportunity to teach you this award-winning set of tools and to help you improve your market timing. You can test drive my newsletter service, Mastering Probabilities, for the next 30 days with no risk to you. Plus, you'll gain access to archive workshops that'll take you step by step through my system. Sign up today by going to the homepage of TFNN.com and selecting Mastering Probability in the newsletter tab.
Bam!
David White's newsletter, The Technology Insider, is focused like a laser on finding the next big things in technology. If you had invested only $10,000 in Microsoft in 1986, you'd have been a millionaire by 2000. Disruptive technology like Microsoft's is the key to these massive long-term profits, and the Tech Insider is the vehicle from TFNN to capitalize on these opportunities. This is the go-to newsletter that identifies, monitors, and profits on mostly little-known cutting-edge companies with great long-term prospects. David's experience is as an inventor of Emmy-winning animation products for TV and Hollywood that propelled a company public. Match that with 14 years as a full-time trader, and he's uniquely qualified to guide you through the light-speed world of ever-evolving high-tech. If you're ready to ride the next big technology bull market for less than $40 per month, log on to TFNN.com and get your 2-week free trial to the Technology Insider. Get in on the ground floor of the next big thing today. With markets trading with extreme volatility and peaks and troughs everywhere, regardless of what you're looking at in the markets, this is a great time to see the type of analysis Basil Chapman delivers for his subscribers every market day with the Opening Call newsletter. Basil has been analyzing markets, providing his take for subscribers to his trading services since 1984. Every morning, Basil publishes an update for his subscribers, along with weekend and evening updates when warranted. The Opening Call provides traders a daily market overview with regard to the direction of the key indices, selective stocks, and commodities, along with specific recommendations, including stops and targets. You also gain instant access to Basil's subscriber webinar archive from earlier this year, a dark cloud cover, and essential market analysis. Ride the Chapman wave today by signing up for the Opening Call newsletter on the front page of TFNN.com under the newsletter tab. New subscribers get a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. Sign up today.
Catch Tom O'Brien, professional trader and educator, founder of TFNN. Also, a special guest on CNBC. Tom will bisect and dissect the markets. The Tom O'Brien Show, next on TFNN.
And we're taking a look at the XLE next as we get ready to wrap up the day. Again, don't expect a lot to happen out here. We are going to probably close above the all-time high on the S&P cash. NASDAQ, of course, up 85, Dow down 22. And I suspect now that Nike has become one of the biggest stocks out there, it could have a fairly decent effect, especially in that SMH. XLE just going sideways, so there wasn't a whole lot in there. We'll take a look at the SMHs again here. Again, not much going on out here. Again, lighter volume for the last 4 days, but it doesn't really mean a lot. And, of course, if you look at the reaction, earnings were good for 3 of the 4 biggies this morning, but not doing much in the way of pushing them higher. So, you know, at some point, they keep moving the earnings higher and may not disappoint, but again, maybe a lot of it's already in the secret sauce already. So hard to say, but options are fairly bullish on NVIDIA, mostly because so many people have been shorting it over the last couple of days, mostly buying puts on it, which generally at least a temporarily bullish signal. They'll blow those guys out in the morning, and then maybe it rolls over after then. So and generally the problem with buying options on these things are they're just ludicrous. In fact, someone was asking me about Tesla. I think it was yesterday, and maybe I brought it up on the show. Tesla at the monies yesterday, I think before the open, at the money was $150. And of course it went the other way, $150. Plus you've got a gap out here higher. Very light volume so far on Tesla too. So again, market rolls when the shorts finally give up, and they're still at it. Shorten as late as yesterday. Anyway, sell when you can, not when you have to. We will see you here tomorrow. Same bat channel, same bat time.